Welcome to Disneyland Park here in Paris. My first ever visit to Disneyland Paris. And I have to say, this is a beautiful entrance. It really, really is. Funny enough, unlike Florida, you can usually see the castle from the entrance, but here you can't see anything at all. As you kind of look around, it's just blue skies. It does look warm. It is -1 at this current time. There are obviously some rides here which I'm looking forward to comparing with Florida. Some of my favourites, things like Philhar Magic. Want to get on Peter Pan as well, and of course It's a Small World. All here, interesting to see how they compare against the counterparts the other side of the pond. And there are some unique things here as well. The Snow White ride, for instance. Hyperspace Mountain is a much more updated version. You then have something in the basement as well of the actual castle itself, and a very different looking Main Street. Like an American City Hall. Look at this. This is lovely. So yeah, first visit here ever. First time I've ever seen this as I walk in. Here we are walking down Main Street. I'm sure it's still called Main Street. Yeah, it's still called Main Street. Heading down towards the castle. I don't know if the castle looks smaller or not. They're definitely different designs. All the Disney castles are different designs. And this one you can walk underneath, which you can't do in the one in Florida. You can't do very often in the one in Florida. I have seen times when you can do it. And as we said, there is a dragon lair as well to check out. I think food and merchandise is going to be harder to resist here than what it was at the studios, where I didn't see an awful lot I wanted, but I think here might be very different. And of course, like all Disney parks, there are shows, there are parades, there are nighttime fireworks. I think they've got drone spectaculars here. In fact, one of them they've only just started a couple of days ago, so we know nothing about it at all. Love these little twirly things they've got. They've got a couple either side, like Disney characters on, which is quite cool. Right, we're going to head into Frontierland first. Unfortunately, and I mean unfortunately, Big Thunder here is also closed for a refurbishment. Not quite as long as the Florida one, which is closed for over a year. This one is closed for 6 months, and it is supposed to be the best of all the Big Thunders. So I'm a little bit gutted that won't be getting that cred for one, but that ride in today. However, Phantom Manor is open, and that is also supposed to be very dark compared to the Haunted Mansion. So really looking forward to seeing that later on. But into Frontierland, where I'm guessing we've still got, I don't know what's in it. Soon find out. That is a good looking Big Thunder, that one. Much more prominent in the sky than the Florida version. However, over here looks like Phantom Manor, so I think we're going to start our Disney adventure at Phantom Manor. This is very classic retro. Love the look of this. Looks very different on the outside, this, but I love the way the landscape kind of goes backwards. The queue's a little bit more Disney-esque. I will say at the studios part we were at in our last video, it did feel very, I don't know, it just felt very cattle penny. This is what I expect to see from a queue. This just looks lovely as we head up. Yeah, I mean that's quite cattle penny, but even then that's at least undercover. Ooh, can't wait for this.
Perhaps you sense a disquieting metamorphosis. Hélas, les choses ne sont pas toujours ce qu'elles paraissent. Tous les contes n'ont pas de fin heureuse.
It appears everyone is doomed at Phantom Manor.
The real beauty of this house awaits us farther on.
She's dying to meet you.
I quite like this this entrance actually. I mean, it's much nicer. Wow, look at that.
We summon you now to dance through the night.
is the exit to Phantom Manor, which we're just taking you on. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see because it's very dark, very, very dark. When we compare it against the Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom, it's very, very dark in there. I think the whole storyline feels a bit darker as well. There are some familiar scenes, and there are some new scenes as well. I mean, particularly the ending there with what it looks like more of a Wild West sort of feel to it. You don't get at Haunted Mansion, but there's definitely some things at Haunted Mansion which you don't get on here. I think that's a fantastic ride. And I think out of all the ones we've ridden that are kind of similar in terms of, you know, naming everything, that's probably the closest so far to not actually knowing which one I prefer. That is brilliant. Haunted Mansion certainly has a charm about it, but Phantom Manor, the presentation, I think outside, particularly the queue line, and even the pre-show and walking into the station, is far, far better than Haunted Mansion as far as I'm concerned. I think Phantom Manor wins that. In terms of ride, I think Haunted Mansion is a little bit longer, but I will have to check. Sadly, as we said, no Big Thunder Mountain, which is a real shame. Heard nothing but good things about that, but that's not on. But to show you how cold it is here, the lake is still frozen completely over this side. We've got a little bit melted over here, but even with the sun on it, it's cold here in Paris. But no Big Thunder. Right, on to the next area. See if we can find some more rides. We've gone around the corner and kind of snuck into Adventureland. So we're looking for Indiana Jones and of course Pirates of the Caribbean. That looks like Indiana Jones. Oh, it's the genie coming through. Straight ahead to Indiana Jones. Now I've seen mixed reviews on this. I've seen some videos on it. I've seen some pictures on it. It screams of when Disney stuck 2 Revachon spinning coasters in an Animal Kingdom where it just doesn't fit. This really looks about the same. But, gonna hold judgment until I've ridden it. I'm just saying, it doesn't look very Disney-like. There it is. I'm not sure how much I'm looking forward to this. Now, we can't take you on board, unfortunately. I did not bring a chest mount, which is required here for these coasters. Mainly because it's so cold I didn't want to wear it all day. But we will definitely let you know what it's like. Yeah, it definitely looks different. Okay, there goes Indiana Jones. Now I will just say it's not as bad as what I heard people say. However, it is very, what's the word? It's very like someone stuck a Pinfari in the middle of Disney. That's kind of what it feels like. It has a bit of a rattle to it. There's a really boring long straight, and I mean boring long straight, just sort of going through the middle, which just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I just don't get it, to be honest with you. But it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's not something I would expect to find at a Disney park, and I've yet to see Indiana Jones, which I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit disappointing, to be honest. I expected there to be a statue somewhere. Maybe I missed it. I didn't see him hanging. I didn't see him doing anything. Very immersive down here. I'm assuming we're going to stumble across Pirates of the Caribbean shortly. I think this is all part of the play area, or maybe a stage show. Yeah, it looks really, really good. Really impressed so far with the Disney park here. Let's see if we can find pirates. The setting here is stunning, to be honest. Absolutely stunning, with Pirates of the Caribbean over in the corner here. Yeah, I have to say, I think this area looks fantastic. Really, really sort of immersive right the way down from really where we've walked from Big Thunder right the way through down to here to the Pirates of the Caribbean. 10-minute queue. I'll take that any day of the week. You might be able to see on the camera or might not be able to see. It's actually quite dark in here, I would argue, compared to the Florida one. Oh, it's warm though. Oh, it's heating. That's all I care about today, is heating. It is very dark in here. Not a massive queue though. I think it's just pretty much down the ramp and we're on.
J'ai entendu 6. Qui offre 6? Gardez votre homme, les gars. C'est de l'or que je veux. Qui dit mieux? Une fois? 2 fois? Ouais, ça la routine. C'est tout dit.
Into Fantasyland. I have to say that Pirates of the Caribbean, undoubtedly the best out of the two I've been on. I think that was brilliant. From sort of the going round past the cafe was really nice to a couple of little drops. You get the lift hill, which you don't experience in Florida because it does that afterwards, which I guess is quite nice, but you know, it's a nicely little themed lift hill with some music and some speech as well. Just can't really complain. And yeah, the whole setup is just so much better for me. There are a lot of familiar scenes, a lot of sort of the same scenes, but there are a lot of different ones as well. Yeah, works on different levels for me. I thought that was brilliant, immersive, really immersive. Slightly lighter in the queue line maybe, it was difficult to see at points, but other than that, it's dark. It's a dark ride. We noticed that with Phantom Manor as well. Everything here does feel a little bit darker, shall we say. So Peter Pan's flight is here. We're not queuing for this right now. It doesn't matter where you are, it's popular. I imagine it's the same ride with the same ride system, which is probably why it's got quite a long queue. So we want to see some other bits and pieces as well. Not really sure what's where, to be honest with you, but we'll carry on looking until we find something. Got a labyrinth over there, a maze, and then you have a teacups and of course the grand carousel. Peter Pan over that side. We're going to see what's over this side. We can see it's a small world over there. We are looking for a Snow White. No, not a Snow White ride.
Yeah.
It is a Snow White ride.
Well, Snow White or Pinocchio.
Ah, right, okay. We're looking for a Snow White or Pinocchio ride.
There is an app.
I've not seen anything of them, but somewhere, Pinocchio's there. So I see Pinocchio. So these are more unique ones that we haven't come across. Whilst I'm desperate to get on It's a Small World, and you can see it in the background, that looks spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. We do want to try some of these that we haven't done before. I guess we may as well start with Pinocchio.
Tu gagnes beaucoup d'argent.
Non, vas-y.
Veuillez rester assis et ne pas quitter votre véhicule. Veuillez rester assis et ne pas quitter votre véhicule.
Please remain seated. Stay in your vehicle. Please remain seated. Stay in your vehicle.
Alors, les petits gars, on va quelque part.
On a réussi.
Here is Snow White. So we've come out of Pinocchio, which was a typical Disney ride, a mixture of 2D and 3D sets, sort of on a little track, which is why it takes so long. And then into Snow White, which we expect to be the same type of ride. But again, we'll take you on board and you can see it for yourself. All the cars got names on the front as well, so I wonder who we're going to get in today.
Miroir magique sur le mur. Ainsi déguisé, le tour est joué.
There is Snow White. I have to say, that was fabulous. I really enjoyed that ride. And advertised at 30 minutes, actually I only waited about 12 minutes in the end. That queue just seems to fly through. Wow. I mean, if you like your Mickey balloon. Oh, this feels really weird coming out of here, then looking at this way down Main Street and everyone sort of standing there. Now the dragon layer underneath actually hasn't opened today so far. It's been closed, which is a bit of a shame. Still a bit of construction going on here as well, but people are getting in position for the parade. However, we're not doing the parade today. We're heading over there. We made it through, but there's not long till they shut off for the parade. It is called Discoveryland. I'd never have guessed that, to be perfectly honest with you. All I know is in the future area with Hyperspace Mountain as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully we'll get on that a little bit later. We won't be able to take you on that again because we haven't bought the chest mount. We will come back with the chest mount. And Buzz Lightyear as well, the Space Ranger spin is over this side. So quite a lot to do over here. I don't know whether we'll stay over here. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll stay over here for a bit. That's a real in-your-face one, that, isn't it? And the orbiter here is on the floor, not in the sky. However, after our Florida one with that, where it didn't raise or do anything, I'm not overly sure we'll go on it. It's funny how that one's now shut for a 3-month refurbishment. We've made it around the back of Hyperspace Mountain, and it's called the Disneyland Theatre. So I don't know how long they've been showing the Mickey's Feel Our Magic, but it is my favourite, and I mean my favourite 4D show, 3D show, sorry. It's just incredible. There's no sign for it, it just says theatre. I just find it so weird. I really find it so weird. It's definitely not custom built for that. When you have experienced the one at Magic Kingdom, that just pales in comparison with the size of the screen and the effects and everything. So it is 4D here. I said 3D before because the Florida one is 3D. That is 4D. It's actually got a whole moving base floor, which sort of adds to it, and it's got wind effects, which I'm just not interested in. The show just doesn't need it. The sound is a lot quieter. I just don't get the French-English part. I appreciate we're in France. If anything, I'd expect the whole show to be in French. It's just a mixture. Now, they obviously don't want to change the dialogue for Mickey because he's in English having a conversation with Minnie in French. I just don't understand how it works. It's just like a seamless conversation, one in one language and one in the other. For me, it just doesn't work. I just don't get it. You've got like the Lion King song halfway through, and they sing it. They start singing it in English, and then finish it in French. I'm just baffled. I know they're trying to sort of suit all audiences and things, but I'd fully understand we're in France and I expect it to be in French. I don't get the part and part. It's more annoying that it's part and part rather than just all one. But I don't know, have you been here? What do you think? Am I looking at it wrong? Should they be catering for both audiences? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Now, we're not going to end our first day here at Disneyland on a low point. We are going to end it on a high point, and that high point is It's a Small World. And how spectacular does this look? I mean, I've not seen the one over in Hollywood, which is the original, and I know looks really, really cool. But arguably the one in Florida is sort of on the main street, if you will. This is just, look at this. My God, this is something else. A little prey comes out. Wow. Now those on the channel will know my love for this, and with a 5-minute queue, I'm going to love it even more. So this is definitely more like the Disneyland one, where it starts outside and then heads on inside. Look at it. Oh, I think it looks fantastic. That was It's a Small World. And you might be wondering, because we didn't explain before we left, why we're in the middle of the boat. Well, that's because there's no one else on the boat, so to balance it you have to sit in the middle. Quite unbelievable actually at 5 o'clock in the afternoon that there's no one on the boat. But that is our final ride of the day here at Disneyland Paris, and indeed in the Disney park, and that was spectacular.